more people die, civilians die, and we call that collateral damage, of course. And those are real people. Those are innocent people who just are caught up in this atmosphere, very much the way these men who were perfectly innocent were caught in something after September 11th that they had absolutely no part of. And so that was something that I was trying to do at that point, to really address that and go at it from a different perspective.
As I recall from my reading, you were also involved in helping to provide these families with some monetary support for the loss of support and income, that they suffered as their family members were murdered.
Well, I tried. That was kind of my initial impulse, was that their breadwinners had died the way the family breadwinners who were on the planes or in the towers or in the Pentagon, and that this vast amount of money that poured into charities after September 11th, that some of it could go to these families who were also part of the overall September 11th tragedy. Now that really, I couldn't make that happen. That was really a pretty futile effort on my part. But that's when I began to say to myself, now what can I do? And I had these extraordinary stories. For example, the Hindu gentleman who I've now spent many opportunities and times in the gas station where his wife now works. I know that he was an extraordinary, just exceptional, generous member of the community. You could pull into his gas station without enough money to fill your tank, and you could leave with the tank filled with the personal promise that you would come back and pay him. I think that's extraordinary. And I have so many stories and photographs and really trying to make clear to people who those distant others are in reality.
If someone wants to get more information on you or your programs, what's available to them, where can they go?
Well, they can obviously go to my website, which is anyacordell.com. And I am always available to do programs and want to do them as much as possible, because I do feel very, very committed to these issues.
I have one other question I'd like to ask you, and unfortunately we don't have much time, but you authored a book some time ago called Race, an Open and Shut Case. And though I've not seen the book, the descriptions of it have intrigued me, and I was wondering if you could talk just a little bit about that before we close.
Well, that got put a little bit on the back burner, just because I got so wrapped up in some other things, and now I'm trying to bring it back to the front burner and work on it. It's a little double-sided book, so on one side it's an open case, on the other side it's a shut case. You kind of open it like a Spanish-English dictionary, and you choose which side just arbitrarily. And it explores a lot of the issues that we've talked about, but from a sort of almost a fable, a little in a metaphorical way, sort of, and you have to get to the middle of the book and then you have to flip it and read the other side. But I was invited to bring it to Cape Town, South Africa in 1999 for the Parliament of the World's Religions. So there were about 3,000 copies that went with me and are floating around the world. It got reprinted in Kenya. And now I have to kind of do a little bit more and try to put it out in a more public way, because I hope that it too has a role to play and can serve. And I've done workshops with people using that. And I think that sometimes we need to start fresh. We need to, race has so much overlay. We have to start the conversation from a brand new basic context. I hope it does that.
Do you find any resistance as a white woman talking about the issue of race?
I really have not. I am pleased that I've been very, very welcomed and made to feel very warmly received in so many different situations. And it's just, that's been, I think, the great gift of doing this work, is that I've been in multiple homes and faith communities and have really felt very warmly taken in by those people.
The last question that I will ask you before we close, in examining this topic and in researching this and meeting the people that you have along the way, what has surprised you the most either about the search or about yourself?
I think I've become more brave. I think I would have been absolutely shocked, if I had a time machine and I could go back 20 or 30 years and see a video of myself showing this picture of myself without my 2 front teeth. I think I would have been just horrified and shocked. And yet I feel really good about that. And I told a young audience last week, I said, when we judge people based on something that they have no control over, maybe if we're going to judge them on, something that they could choose, but certainly not on something that they had no choice about. They didn't, choose to wake up with that pimple or, to have problems with their eyesight and have to wear glasses that are so very thick, which I was wearing about a year ago before I had some eye surgery, etc.
Yeah.
That not only is that extraordinarily cruel to somebody, but it's also
it's unfair.
It's just not fair.
Yeah. Our guest tonight has been Anya Cordell. We want to thank her for joining us, and we hope to see you again at Evanston 30 next time. Good night.